the 2026 Nissan Rogue. It's the most powerful Rogue ever. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality.
Return to paradise with a free content update in the Animal Crossing New Horizons game. Design rooms at a resort hotel and earn tickets for rewards. Invite friends to create together on Slumber Island. Tap select amiibo figures to get items from the Legend of Zelda and Splatoon series. And if it's been a while, ask Resetti to help clean up your island. This free update for Animal Crossing New Horizons is available now.
Assuming since you can hear the music. Okay. Had my lunch, started some laundry. Now I gotta get back in action. Let's see. Close unused applications. Let me close a couple tabs so it doesn't get weird on me. Okay. Okay, so starting back up, go over the rundown. We're going over the comprehensive plan, proposed draft by the city of Catoosa. There's a public meeting about it tomorrow night, and they'll finalize it and vote on it sometime in February. There's probably a date, I just need to look it up, but right now they're taking public comment, public opinion, questions, all that. the microphone a little bit closer. And I am the open house meeting is more of a showcase, a displaying of the codes, and the opportunity to go ask questions. But you kind of need to know what to ask before going in. Therefore, I'm making live videos to go over the code. It's 228 pages. I don't know how far I'm going to get through it now. I don't want to go more than an hour. I'm trying to break this down into sections. Did my first live last night. I did one earlier today, and this is my third. So go back and watch the first two. If you want to go on YouTube, I can link it here in a little bit. I need to link it. But it's on Facebook right now. And I believe, I don't know if you can fast forward it on Facebook, but it's easier to listen to YouTube fast forward to me. So anyway, disclaimer, everything I say is either right from the draft, or if I go off to opinion, it is my opinion only. I'm not here to give legal advice. I'm here just to share information, educate. I guess I could say entertainment purposes only, but I'm really not entertaining. So anyway, let's jump into it. We stopped on, gosh, it went all the way back. I'm gonna have to find the PUD again. I had to close that window out, so now I gotta go back into it. So we are looking at PUDs. We've been going over the zoning areas. I'll show the map again real quick. Let's see, share this tab. Okay. This is Catoosa. The black line is the city limits, or the city fence line. These are all color-coded areas that they determined to name districts. Cottage is the entertainment district, the hills, which is Rolling Hills, the industries, Old Town, Spunk Creek, I think they meant Spunky Creek on that, the trails, the valley, West Catoosa, and the woods. So all these are color coded into districts, and then the zoning codes will determine what happens in these districts. And that's what we're discussing. The comprehensive plan is on the cityofcatoosa.org website, as well as the draft of this code. And I can link it after the video. I think the other link messed up somehow because someone said that the link didn't work. So you just have to go to the cityofcatoosa.org website, and it should be like one of the first. It says Play in Catoosa in this big blue graphic here. So click on that, and then you go down, and to read the code, it's draft code for public comment, and then it has a link to give your opinion or ask questions, give feedback. So let me go back to it. So we're discussing that map. We're discussing a PUD. The last thing we went over was a Old Town district, which is a special district, and a PUD, which means planned unit development, is also considered a special district. Alright, so we'll start at 6.7. Purpose and intent. The planned unit development PUD district is established to provide an alternative to the zoning districts established in this ordinance. The PUD district is intended to accomplish the following. 1. Permit and encourage innovative land development while maintaining appropriate limitations on the character and intensity of use and assuring compatibility with adjoining and proximate properties. 2. Permit greater flexibility within the development, best to utilize the unique physical features of the particular site. Permit creative land use design. Provide and preserve meaningful open space and achieve a continuity of function and design with the development. Alright, planned unit development is established and may be requested on any property within the city. There is no maximum size requirement for property to be considered for a planned unit development district. However, no planned unit development shall be approved where the size of property is such that the purpose of this article cannot be achieved. If a planned unit development containing residential uses is proposed in a non-residential district, the maximum allowed density shall be based on the gross acreage devoted to residential use and shall not include areas devoted to non-residential use. Review procedures in Article 3. Submittal items. The following are required with any formal application of a PUD zoning district. Let's see. Article 3 will describe that. So I don't want to go over the application stuff. It says PUD development plan. The development plan shall include the following through maps and accompanying text development standards. So they have to meet these. They have to include these things. Proposed development areas, proposed number of off-street parking loading zones, size of business signs. This is like the requirements. Proposed open space, proposed maximum building heights and minimum setbacks, proposed public and private vehicular and pedestrian circulation systems, proposed landscaping areas, screening of mechanical and utility equipment for non-residential uses in public or private common spaces, proposed intensity of residential uses expressed in the number of dwelling units per development area in acres, and proposed intensity non-residential use expressed in square feet and allocated to the proposed development area. So this is just giving like everything that the person that wants to build a PUD type thing, whatever they want to build, they have to come to the city with all this information first. Sufficient surrounding areas to demonstrate the relationship and connectivity of the PUD to adjoining uses, structures, roadways, both existing and proposed. Existing topographic character of the land, including identification of any floodplain areas and trees areas, and instances of probable development, constraints due to slope or soil conditions. The administrator may require the submittal of slope and or soil analysis. So detailed plans may be used as an alternative, providing some required information but not submitted in PD. Information not submitted in the PUD adoption. These detailed plans shall go through the zoning adoption process to approve each detail phase and its conformance with the PUD development. Abandonment of a PUD shall require approval of the City Council. Upon the recommendation of the Planning Commission on application for an amendment to the zoning map to repeal a PUD designation, the City Council may repeal said designation. Upon final action authorizing the abandonment of the PUD, no building permit shall be issued except for in accordance with the restrictions and limitations of general base zoning districts. Upon abandonment of the PUD, the City Council may amend the underlying zoning upon receiving a recommendation from the planning. So that's just going over what they do if the PUD needs to change or whatever. Article 5 uses. Purpose. 1 table of allowed uses. Table 5.1. Allowed uses below list the uses allowed within all zoning districts. So all these things listed are allowed in all zoning districts. Accessory and temporary uses are summarized in Table 5.2. Accessory uses and structures at Table 5.3. Temporary uses and structures. All uses are defined in Article 9. Definitions. Approval of a use listed in this article and compliance with the applicable use-specific standards for that use authorizes that use only. Development or use of property or structure for any other use not specifically allowed in the article and approved under appropriate processes is prohibited. So if you develop a property or structure for another use, then they allow and approved under the appropriate. Okay, so basically if you build a building and you say it's going to be one thing and it's not, and you don't use it for that, then that's prohibited. Let's see, explanation and use of table abbreviations. Permitted by right uses P in a cell indicates that the use is permitted by the right in the respective zoning district. Permitted uses are subject to all other applicable regulations of this ordinance, including the supplemental use of standards in this article and the requirements of Article 6, development standards. B. Uses requiring a specific use permit. S in a cell indicates that the respective zoning district, the use is allowed only if a specific use permit in accordance with the procedures of Article 3 review procedures. Uses requiring a specific use permit are subject to all other applicable regulations of this ordinance, including the supplemental use standards in this article and requirements of Article 6, development standards. Prohibitive uses. A blank cell indicates that the use is prohibited in the respective zoning district. So if there's nothing there, then you cannot do that in that zoning district. So this is giving us basically a guide to what you'll see here in a minute. Additional use standards. Regardless of whether a use is allowed by right or permitted with a specific use permit, there may be supplemental standards that are applicable to the use. The applicability of these standards is noted through a cross-reference in the last column of the table. An asterisk is a cell indicates that the use, whether permitted by right or special use, is permitted, subject in addition to use standards in that district. Cross-references refer to additional use standards, additional accessory use standards, and additional standards for temporary uses and structures. Allowed land uses in planned unit development districts, PUDs. Land uses in a PUD are permitted as follows. Okay, so if a PUD development specifically references a base zoning district, 1. Any land use permitted by right in the applicable underlying base zone district as amended may be permitted. Okay. Any land use requiring a specific use permit in the applicable underlying base zoning district as amended is only allowed if a specific use permit is issued for the use. Any land use prohibited by the underlying zoning base district as amended is also prohibited in the PUD unless it's specifically added as part of the PUD conditions. The PUD conditions may list the permitted, prohibited, and specific use permit uses separately. A combination of above. Okay. So basically, like if it's in a PUD area, it's a special case, but it's zoned for ag, it has to go by the ag standards unless it's in the PUD information to allow for it. It's from what the gist I'm trying to get here. Another thing with me is like I can understand something better than I can verbally break it down. So I don't mean to confuse anybody by me trying to summarize. I think I'm pretty sure I understand what that means, but trying to break it down and summarize it, I'm not necessarily good at that. That's why I'm trying to pick out examples. Let's see. Use table organization. In the table, land uses and activities are classified into general use categories and specific use types based on common functional product or physical characteristics, such as type and amount of activity, the type of customers or residents, how goods or services are sold or delivered, and site conditions. This classification provides a systematic basis for assigning present and future land uses in appropriate zoning districts. Let me zoom in. I keep forgetting to do that. Let me see if that's... Come on. Let me see it. I have to wait on my... I'm watching my iPad to see if it looks okay on screen. Okay. Whoops, no. Go back. I went too far. Hold on. Abbreviations. Here we go. This classification provides a systematic basis for assigning present and future land use in appropriate zoning districts. This classification does not list every use or activity that may be appropriately exist within these use categories, and specific uses may be listed in one category when they may reasonably have been listed in one or more other categories. The use categories are intended merely as indexing tool or not regulatory. Let me get a drink. Classification of new and unlisted uses. Hold on, let me see what this means. Okay. The city recognizes that new types of land uses will arise, and forms of land use not anticipated in this ordinance may seek to locate in the city. When the application is made for a use category or use type that's not specifically listed in the appropriate use table, the administrator shall make a determination as to the appropriate classification of any new or unlisted form of land use in the following manner. I, the administrator, shall provide an interpretation as to the zoning classification into which such a use should be placed. In making such interpretation, the administrator shall consider all relevant characteristics of the proposed use, including but not limited to the following. 1. The actual or projected characteristics of proposed use. The volume of type of sales, retail, wholesale, etc. for commercial uses. The size and type of items sold, nature of inventory on the premises, the type and number of customers and employees, hours of operation, size of arranged buildings and parking on the site, amount of parking needed, and estimate trips generated by proposed use. Any processing done on the premises, including assembly, manufacturing, warehousing, shipping, distribution. Any dangerous, hazardous, toxic, or explosive materials used in the processing. Nature of location of storage and outdoor display. So this little rundown is just what they have to include if it's something new that they've never zoned for and they don't know how to classify it. The stuff that they would be required to bring to the city and inform them of. I'm not going to read everyone. Standards for new and unlisted uses may be interpreted as if those are similar use. Appeal shall be made to the board following the procedures. Administrator may periodically request amendments to the ordinance to incorporate newly listed uses. Okay, now we're at the tables. And let's see. Table 5.1 allowed uses. So, this is, let me double check real quick. I think this is it. When you go up to the meeting, they have these big posters set up. And I believe this is what they are. So this goes over what's allowed in the districts. So let's see, allowed uses. So okay. So I'm just going to start at the top here. So if you want to build a hotel in the city of Catoosa, where it's blank, it's not allowed. Where it says P, it's allowed. So if you have a agricultural land and you're zoned agricultural, you will have to request a zoning change so that you to a LC, RC, LI, HI, you'll have to request a zoning change to be allowed to build a hotel on your agricultural land. Same with a bed and breakfast. But you can have a bed and breakfast if you are rural light, or residential light, residential medium, residential high. And what was the S? P, let's see. See, this is where I go back to the permitted by P, and then S means specific use. So they'd have to go through more procedure to determine specific use. Okay, group homes, multifamily residentials, retirement homes, multi-unit homes, single-family residence, attached. So let's see, not in ag, not in rural. Can do there and there, because so that's what the zones are, to determine what can be built there and what can be happening in that district. And you can see in Old Town most of this is permitted. Not manufactured housing is not. So Old Town, you cannot put in a manufacturing housing or subdivision or park. And the government, they have permission, even under special use, to do whatever. So that's those. And then so universities and colleges, they'll give special permission in ag and rural for those. A lot of those are special. Schools, they get straight permission in any location, it looks like. So Catoosa can build schools in every neighborhood if they really desire to. Daycares, you have to get special permission in the ag rural areas. Permitted in commercial, but in industrial, but not in the HI. Let's see, hospitals and clinics. Auto service establishments, you can only put those in the light commercial, these commercial districts, so they won't be included in residential areas. Breweries, commercial food, text and product. So you just look at this chart and look at P or S. That means there's a possibility you can put your business in that area. And if you don't have it marked off, or if it's blank, then you're not allowed to put it there unless you can get that rezoned. Mini storage, miscellaneous manufacturing, transportation services. Let's see, telecommunications, utilities, warehouse storage, trade, art, antique museum furniture or galleries, auto-related sales, finance, insurance, real estate, banks, credit unions, property management services with no drive-through, fitness, recreational sports, gym, athletic club, dance, yoga studios, food service, such as full-service restaurants, cafeterias, bakeries, catering, snack bars with no drive-throughs. Okay. Goes into offices for business and professional, pet and animal sales, including outside kennels. Pet and animal sales with no outside kennels, retail, sales or service, a theater, cinema, or music venue. Medical marijuana sales, medical marijuana manufacturing, a commercial stable, a golf course, personal service, including a beauty shop or barber shop, tattoo parlor, pawn shops, commercial use with outdoor stages, any commercial use with drive-through facilities, food trucks, home occupations, structured parking, temporary use parking lot, parking as a primary use, RV parks, overnight camping, cemetery, a sexually oriented business, medical marijuana, ag, greenhouse, nursery, innovative ag cultivation, urban agriculture is permitted in all zones. Urban agriculture, all zones allowed. Agriculture, grazing, and ranching, all zones except for Old Town. Huh. It's interesting. So you can have your goat farm next to the windmill factory. Okay. Let's see. Design criteria standards. Applicability. Design criteria for all uses allowed under Table 5.1. Allow uses shall be regulated by Article 4 districts and additional standards within Article 6 development standards. If you're following along by chance, it's page 62 on the PDF, 61 on the actual draft. Let's see. Design criteria for all uses allowed under Table 5.1. Allow uses shall be regulated by Article 4 districts and additional standards within Article 6 development standards. Residential and lodging use additional standards. Accessory dwelling unit. An accessory dwelling unit in any residential district that meet the standards in this section shall not count as a dwelling unit for purposes of calculating density on the site. They shall meet the setback and height standards of the primary structure. The unit shall be not larger than 50% of the principal residence on the lot. A separate secondary entrance may be provided to the accessory unit, but shall not face any public street directly. The unit may be a standalone unit or attached to a garage, either to the side or above. In agriculture districts, up to one accessory dwelling unit is permitted per 5-acre lot of land. In the comprehensive plan, there was a thing in the Old Town that talked about grandma houses, or I can't remember what it said. Basically, you can put like a mother-in-law house on your property in the back, as a secondary living space or a secondary dwelling. This is as I understand it. As I understand it. Okay. It's gotta meet the setbacks. Let's see. Oh, I already read that. Okay. Bed and breakfast. Number of guest rooms is limited to 5 within residential districts, and any additional only permitted by special exceptions. So if you've got a huge house with 10 rooms, only 5 of those can be used as a bed and breakfast. Cooking facilities and guest rooms are not allowed. Individual guest occupancy is limited to no more than 14 consecutive days with any 30-day period. So they can't move in your bed and breakfast. It can't be a long-term stayer. Signs shall meet the City of Catoosa sign ordinance, health and safety considerations. Shall meet all adopted city, county, and state regulations regarding applicable fire code, health safety, including food handling permit requirements. Group home. No more than one family unit is permitted per Article 9 definitions. I guess I have to look those up. Dwelling, live work. In a mixed-use development building, a live-work dwelling is considered a non-residential use. The non-residential square footage within a live-work unit shall be limited to 6,000 square feet and shall be accessed from the front of the lot. The live portion of the building may be sited above or behind the non-residential use, but shall not be between the non-residential use and the public right-of-way. So if you have a store, like if you have a business and you build an apartment above it to live there, there's regulations for that. Yeah, but you can't have more than one family live in it. Multifamily ground floor residential shall not be located at the intersection of Cherokee or any other cross street for the first 50 feet of frontage along Cherokee. This restriction does not pertain to access or entrances upper level residential in a building. Manufacturing, transportation, communication, and utility uses. Auto service establishment. Spray painting or bodywork is not permitted. Dismantling, remanufacturing, or rebuilding are only permitted in industrial districts. So, there's that. Outside storage or display of products or vehicles shall be prohibited. Service bay repair or installation work shall be conducted completely within a building. Service bays that face any residential uses or public right-of-way shall be screened in accordance to the standards for a type of screen described in Article 6 Development Standards. So, okay. Car and truck wash. Wash bays and vacuum bays facing a public street or residential use shall be screened in accordance with the standards for a type screen described in Article 6 development. Okay, hold on a second. I gotta... Where am I at? 63. Okay, I'm gonna zoom up real quick. I'm gonna go find me Article 6. Here we go. So, say you have a car wash. Maybe we'll get to it. I'll have to find it. Article 6 is really going to get into the nitty gritty. Okay, well, I guess we'll get to it. But it just sounds right there like, so if we had a car wash to be built at 193rd, after this goes into effect, say it wasn't there, and then this went to effect, and now they want to build a car wash there, they would have to put screens up so people can't see people vacuuming the cars, as I understand it. So, and you have to put screens up if you want to do a mechanic shop, so they can't see inside your bays. I guess that would count as garage doors. I don't know. Go back to 63. Okay. Wash bays and vacuum bays facing a public street or residential uses shall be screened in accordance with the standards for a type screen described. Okay. Auto-related parts and accessory sales. No outside storage or display of any merchandise. So does that mean tires? They can't display tires outside. Specific to special districts, a pedestrian entrance to the building from a public sidewalk along a pedestrian-oriented street shall be required. Service bays shall not face Cherokee. Okay. Gasoline. Gas pumps and canopies shall not be located on the site adjacent to any residential uses, in addition to screening in accordance with the standards of a type screen described in Article 6. Specific to special districts. Number 2. A pedestrian entrance to the principal building on the site from a public sidewalk along a pedestrian-oriented street shall be required. So, okay, so you have to have a front entrance facing the street. If it's a street with a sidewalk, they have to have a front entrance to that sidewalk. Okay. Gasoline pumps gasoline pumps may not be built adjacent to a public right of way. I think that's what they meant to say. The public area shall be set back behind the primary building facade and towards the interior or lot or block. Oh, big yawn. Alright, I'm gonna go for about 10 more minutes. And we'll do part 4 tomorrow, maybe later tonight. I don't know. I was hoping to get to page 100 today, so I might finish up later. I gotta get ready for the meeting. Like I said, city council meetings tonight. Okay. Got my settings wrong in this. Hold on a second. I'm gonna look at something. I can look at it later though. Alright, go back. Okay. Oh yeah, I got it on. Microbreweries, microdistilleries, wineries. Maximum size shall be limited to 25,000 square feet, and production limit in accordance with ABLE restrictions. All other ABLE requirements and or restrictions remain applicable. Any manufacturing use in the special district shall meet the following standards: shall be no more than 10,000 square feet, Buildings greater than this shall require a special use permit. All outside storage shall only be in the rear yard and screened in from all adjoining properties and public streets by an 8-foot solid screening device that complies with the following requirements. All screening devices shall form an opaque, solid barrier without gaps or openings, except as provided in C below. All screening devices shall be constructed of 100% brick, stone, or architecturally finished reinforced concrete. Only openings in screening devices that are necessary for reasonable access to the storage yard shall be permitted, but shall be equipped with a solid grate or door constructed and maintained in accordance with the requirements for screening devices set forth in this section. All openings shall always be closed and securely locked, except for needed access. Any painting, staining, coating, covering, or other coloring of any screening device shall be of a uniform color. You can't put any whatever. No lime green and pink rainbows, I guess. I don't know. All screening devices shall be maintained, repaired, and replaced to ensure compliance with the requirements in this section at all times. So, manufacturing in special districts. So you've got to cover up your place of business so nobody can see your storage yard. Outside storage shall not be stacked, accumulated, kept, or otherwise placed above the solid screening device described in this subsection. A row of evergreen screening trees shall be planted in front of and within 10 feet of the required screening device. These trees shall be spaced at a maximum of 10 or 15 feet on center. They shall be placed no closer than 5 feet to the street or required screening device. These trees shall be 6 to 8 feet in height at the time of planting and be species capable of reaching a height of 15 feet within 5 years. So you gotta build a wall and you gotta plant trees in front of the wall, but not too close to the road, to have your business in a special district. Okay. What time am I on right now? What's my... We're at 55:22. I think I'm gonna write that note so I can go back and clip this. Oh, okay. What is this? Okay. 55 minutes. Screening trees. Okay. Who put trees in here? What if you want nice hedges? No, you have to have evergreens. But maybe there's allowable types of hedges that are evergreens. I don't know. Where am I at? I went too far down. Okay. Evergreen screening trees shall be planted in within 10 feet of required screening device. So you gotta spend a lot of money on your business to build these walls that have to be 8 feet high and they have to be brick or stone. Then you have to plant trees in front of them. Okay. Okay. All screening trees shall be equipped with automatic irrigation systems. So you're spending more money on irrigation. I hope you have a huge manufacturing business with lots of money to be able to want to do a PUD. Put your business in manufacturing. Outside storage. Any storage associated with an industrial use. Okay, all outside storage shall be set back a minimum of 25 feet from any public right-of-way, shall be located within the rear yard, and screened from view of public streets by 8-foot high solid screening device that complies with the following requirements. Okay, same thing. All gotta be opaque. Have to make them out of brick, stone, or reinforced concrete. Opening requirements. No funky colors. They gotta be maintained. Well, I guess you're not required to plant trees though. The purpose of this telecommunications facilities. The purpose of this section is to establish standards regulating the location of telecommunication facilities, towers, and antennas with the objective of minimizing their number, to protect and promote public safety, and to mitigate any adverse visual impacts on the community while promoting the provision of telecommunications service to the public. All telecommunication facilities, towers, and antennas shall be erected and operated in compliance with the current Federal Communication Commission and Federal Aviation Administration rules and regulations and other appropriate applicable. Okay, do I want to go over the cell phone towers to see? Gotta be on a platted lot. Oh, you gotta pay the city back if they need a technical expert. Let's see. Okay, this is about how they want. Exemptions are dish antennas. Abandoned antennas or towers. Okay, what they want to do with abandoned or unused antennas. How to mount them on the buildings if they want. Let's skip over some of these. I don't need to read this about telecommunications stuff. If somebody's interested in that, then go back and read telecommunications. Oh. Like any of the business, like industrial type, big business telecommunications stuff, I'm probably going to skip over because that's for the people that do that stuff, not for regular citizens. So I'm not going to read about the towers right now. Someone that is interested can go back and read that. And this goes into antenna, so if you have antennas or anything like that, I don't know if that goes into like Dish Network. It might. Commercial use and additional standards 2.4. Pet and animal sales or service with or without outdoor kennels. Okay. Commercial breeding is not permitted. Uses shall be entirely enclosed, properly ventilated, provide sound barriers and odor protection to adjacent properties and users nearby or within the same development. Pet and animal sales or service with outdoor kennels. Outdoor kennels and runs are not permitted within 500 feet of residentially zoned property. So you cannot have a kennel in a neighborhood within 500 feet of a neighborhood. Specialty retail and paraphernalia sales, brick and mortar location is a requirement. Any establishment with gross monthly sales of specialty retail and paraphernalia sales representing more than 25% of total sales shall only be permitted with an SUP. Any commercial use with outdoor storage. Outdoor storage or display of products along a highway frontage shall be prohibited. All storage areas shall be located within the rear yard and screened from adjacent properties in any public right-of-way. So, I wonder what would be an example, like, what would be a good example of that? I don't know. I guess if you sold, maybe if you sold pavers or something, and you had to store them in the back, and you have to screen off from any public roads. If adjacent to any residential uses, those shall be screened in accordance with the standards or type of screen used in the Article 6 Development Standards. Any commercial use with the drive-through facilities, retail sales, pharmacies, banks, and restaurants, drive-through facilities, windows, lanes, queuing, etc. shall not face a public right-of-way and shall be placed to the side without street frontage or rear of the building. Drive-through facilities shall not face it. Okay, so would scooters even be allowed? I mean, they would have to turn it around. I would face, even the scooter, I'm just thinking like, scooters is in Tulsa, I know, but would they have to, if they were to build it in Catoosa, would they have to like, or if that lot was in Catoosa, would they have to turn the building around and have the drive-through on the other side instead of facing the drive-through window faces 193rd? I'm just like, talking out my head here, just pondering. Or the barn, that has the drive-through barn thing when it was open. That window faces 66. So technically, would they have to put the window on the other side of the building facing the back for people to drive up through for it to be allowed? If the previous requirement is not feasible, drive-through lanes facing, backing, or siding a public street residence shall be screened. So would you have to build a screen? If you can't move scooters, do you have to build a screen so people can't see the drive-through? I'm just asking questions. Write that down. So let's see, article, where are we at? Page 69. 69. Article, no, page 69E. E. How am I out of my time? Oh gosh, it's 406. 106. I've been talking an hour. I can't believe how long this takes. Goodness gracious. Back here. Alright. Let's find a stopping point. Oh, let's get back up on me. Okay. Specific to special districts permitted along US 66 outside of OT core area. Alternative finance institution, non-depository financial institution. No alternative financial institution shall be located within 1,000 feet, measured from the property line to property line of any other alternative financial institution. No alternative financial institution shall be located within 400 feet measured from property line to property line of a lot zoned or used for residential purposes. An alternative financial institution may be only per principal use that requires a SUP. An alternative financial establishment may not be considered as an accessory use. Is that like cash checking agencies and stuff? Surface parking lot shall be screened when located adjacent to any residential uses or public right-of-way with a screen in accordance of this. Article 6 Development Standards. Specific to special districts, any lot where the parking lot is intended to be primary use shall be screened by a liner structure or habitable building to frame the edges of the parking lot along the street frontage. And if a liner building is not feasible, a 30-foot deep landscape edge allowing for the future liner building is required to buffer the parking lot from the street edge. Oh, this is in special districts. Okay, that's special districts. Structured parking shall meet the standards for parking garages and special district design standards. Sexually orientated businesses. Oriented, not orientated. Oriented. I can read, I promise. Shall not be located within 1,000 feet of a church, a school, a boundary of a residential district, a public park, a property line of a devoted or residential use. Distance is measured in a straight line from the nearest point to the wall of the portion of the building with a sexually oriented business is conducted to the nearest property edge of any religious building, school, residential district, public park, and residential use. Shall not be closer than 1,000 feet of any other sexually oriented business. Measured in a straight line from the nearest point of the wall of the portion of the building with a sexually oriented business is conducted to the nearest point of a wall, the portion of the building in which another sexually oriented business is conducted. Okay, 2.5 RV parks, overnight camping. Overnight stays or camping in RV parks is not permitted within residential subdivisions or residential lots less than 5 acres. And then development standards. Alright, I think I'm going to stop at 71 for now. And pick this back up later. And maybe I can get through to 100 tonight. I might glance through it just to see what's coming up. Let's see. Narrow down stopping at 71. So this is going to go through RV parks and their stuff. I probably will skim through this. When I come back, agriculture uses, cannabis. Let's see, just kind of seeing what's coming up. Oh, accessory uses and structures. There's another chart. Can go through. Animal husbandry, carports, garages. Does that encompass all accessory uses and structures? Yeah. Okay, so we'll get into that. Accessory uses. Temporary use stuff. Okay. I'm just skimming real quick. Festivals. Garage sales. Storage containers. Article 6 development standards. I think that's really getting down into it. So that starts on 88. So yeah, we'll finish up tonight and we'll try to get to at least some of the Article 6 stuff. Because that's when it gets deep into it. Okay. So I'm going to end here, and I will not probably come back on until after the city council meeting, which is coming up at 6 o'clock tonight. See you there. I posted the agenda on Conversation Catoosa. The city posted the agenda on their Facebook page. Join the city page, follow the page so you can get updates from them. And yeah, if you happen to have watched this, which I don't think anybody has, but that's fine. Maybe somebody will someday. We will keep going until it's done. And at least we'll have references, and I will at least know what's going on in this thing. So, anyway, I will be back later. Until then.